Okay, back in the garage with the 55. Got some fresh parts. Rear 10 inches of the trunk floor with the sail panel, the splash panel, I guess they call it, and the brace down there. Not going to be working on that today. I'm going to try and knock out these two braces since I only have a couple hours tonight to work. That other job's a bit bigger. So, front brace right here, center brace back here on this side. I got to get this motor mount bolt off. You can see my wrench sitting there to hold that. And this guy right here, with the wrench backing it up on top, so that we can replace that right there, which is rotten and a mess. So I'm just going to my plan is to cut it off about right here, just kind of just past it, and then just graft in this section that I need to there. I'm not actually going to go all the way down, it's fine out here on the end. I just need this center section right where the body mount goes. So I'm going to try and replace as little of it as possible, because it is a nightmare to get it above the frame and brace, in between the outer section here, and it's just a nightmare. Anyway, we've got the car up on stands and got this wheelhouse extension off the front here so we have better access. We're going to go at it. I'll bring you back once I've got that part done. Okay. Alright, we got the bolt out. As expected, it snapped right off, so that just made it easier to deal with. So that's out of the way. That was quite literally the only body mount on the entire driver's side of the car that even had a bolt that was doing anything. This one here has a bolt in it, but if you look up here, you'll notice that the mount is totally rusted out. So it's actually just floating there, doing nothing. So next, I'm going to jack up the body with kind of this little rig right here. You can see that it's just some blocks of wood, just on the inside of the rocker panel here. Yes, it is going to flex the heck out of the body right there in the center. It sort of is what it is. This car was a rust bucket to begin with. I mean, this describes everything on this car. It's a complete rust bucket. You can see all the way down there. I have done everything underneath, braces all the way down the other side, floor pans on both sides, and I just have this brace and another brace back there to go. So it's real bad, so I'm not so worried about it. Flexing, we'll deal with that later. And so next I'm going to jack the body up and bring it back in. Alright, back again. Here's where we are. I cut out the offending rust. You can see I'm not going to go into this. This part's fine. There's really no reason to cut that out. It just makes a lot more work. And I'm definitely not going up over the frame all the way to replace the whole thing, because A, it doesn't need it, and B, it's dang near impossible to get all those spot welds out against the floor. It's really, with the frame on it, it's just almost impossible. So I kind of just hacked my way through there with Sawzall, with a zip disc, with whatever, and then I took and I just hosed it down with some of that rust reformer in there, because I know there is some rust up there on the floor, but you can see the part I've already grafted in. I'm not going to worry about that other part right around there. I will, if I do anything, I can do it from the top, so I'm not super worried about that. Really, I just want to patch in this one part that was really rusty where the body mount, where the weight goes, and it's going to be fine. You can see it was a pretty rough deal. I had to cut it with the Sawzall through that flange in a couple of spots, because there's really no other way to do it to get all the way down to the bottom edge of that. It's a pretty hateful job, really, doing it with the body on like this, but there's really, I don't have the ability to take the body off the frame other than just jacking it up like I've got it. And you can see it's only up, what is that, half, 3/4 of an inch right here. probably a 1/2 inch up. So I mean, there's just not a ton of space to work with. I've got 2 jacks. I went ahead and put a second jack right there so we can flex this rocker so hard. So anyway, that's where we are. So here's the piece that was cut out. You can see how bad that was. There's no strength left in that at all. But I got well enough past it that I'm not concerned about it. It's gonna be fine otherwise. The other bad part is I got this brace. Obviously I ordered the whole thing. It sucks I'm not going to use the whole thing, but I'm just not going to. So I'm just going to take this, pop it over here like this, so I can see exactly the piece that I need to cut out. And I'm going to use this as my template to cut out the part that I need. And then I'm just going to trim it to fit. I'm going to cut it right along this bottom lip right here on both sides, all the way at the bottom, and then I'll cut it a little bit long on both sides so that I can then grind it, trim it to fit, and then weld it up in there, and it'll be good to go. So I'm going to get to cutting and trimming, and we'll come back done. It's a dirty, hateful job, let me tell you. Oof. Okay, I'm back, and here's where we are. You can see I just used that as my sort of my guide. I cut a little bit long on both sides, so we got more to do. Certainly going to have more trimming. I went ahead and just trimmed that, cut the sides off, and on that side too. But reality is, this is the important part. It's got the strength right here for the body mount. It's not obviously going to be full of holes. It'll be just fine. So I'm going to go in there and start fitting it up and doing some more grinding. Alright, we're back. It's been about 20 minutes or so. I just used the cutoff wheel and the flap disc and just kind of snuck up on it. That's all you really want to do. You can't go too much at one time or you'll end up overcutting it and you'll have a problem. But you can kind of see, got that fitting up in there real nice, just like that. Oh, it's hard to do this while filming. But you get the idea. You just trim it slowly but surely. You know, take some big bites at first, and then really just slow down. Geez, let me see if I can do this even. Sorry, my filming's terrible. Okay, so you can see, you get the idea. I actually got it fit up in there pretty well. If I could use my other hand. There we go. So it fits pretty nice. I'm going to cut it, I'm going to butt it along the edges, I'm going to weld it right along that bottom edge there. We got a little bit of a gap right there, but that won't be a big deal. And then on the front side, fits real nice all along on all edges. And that's it, you know, that's going to provide the structural integrity you need for that body mount. And you really won't have to worry about that again. The whole process didn't take very long. I didn't have to take the body off the frame, just jack it up in about 1 inch or so. Just cut out the section that you need to cut out and put it in there. All Tri-5s apparently rot in this area from everything I've seen. But I'm a big advocate of only cut out what you need to cut out. Otherwise you just make a whole bunch of unnecessary work for yourself. This is not a concourse restoration by any means. This is just going to be a fun hot rod. And so perfection is not what we're after. We just want functionality and structural integrity, and we're going to have that. That's it. So I'm going to buzz this thing in real quick and slap a coat of paint on it, and this one will be done. Whole thing probably an hour, maybe, start to finish. Okay, we're back. Not super pretty, but functional and done. We got it all welded in there. Shadow on that. You see welded all along there, on that edge. I couldn't get all the way across the top, but close enough. Did the same on the front side. There's a bunch of undercoating and crap here, so those welds are pretty scabby, but it's all sealed up, it's good. I can't even really get a grinder in there, so I'm just going to hose it down with some paint. Call it a day. The body mount lines up, the hole lines up nicely in there, so should be structurally sound and functional, good to go. So there it is. Front brace, I don't know what you call it, replacement, but anyway, rust repair. There you go. Alright, there it is. Painted up. Done. Good to go. On to the next one. That's it for now.